In the early 20th century, the world was living through a massive industrial revolution. Fast trains, giant factories, and iron bridges were transforming life. In the midst of this progress, fierce competition raged between shipping companies for control of the most famous travel route in the world. Transatlantic voyages between Europe and America. The British company White Star Line wanted to outshine its rival, Cunard Line, which owned the fastest ships. Instead of focusing purely on speed, White Star decided to emphasize luxury and comfort, and thus, the idea was born to build three massive ships: Olympic, Titanic, Britannic. The Titanic was the jewel of the project, the largest and most luxurious ship the world had ever seen. It was even called the unsinkable ship. Construction of the Titanic began on March 31, 1909, at the Harland and Wolff shipyards in Belfast, Ireland. More than 3,000 workers took part, and it took over 2 years to complete. The numbers alone were astonishing. Length, 269 meters. Width, 28 meters. Height, equal to an 11-story building. Weight, 46,328 tons. The Titanic had 3 massive smokestacks and a fourth, fake funnel added purely for aesthetics, and 3 giant propellers, powered by 46,000 horsepower. The Titanic was divided into 3 classes. First class, the pinnacle of elegance. Private suites, grand dining rooms with classic decor, libraries, a gymnasium, an indoor swimming pool, and even electric elevators, extremely rare at the time. Second class, comfortable and refined, catering to engineers, academics, and well-off travelers who couldn't afford first class. Third class, for poor immigrants seeking a new life in America. Though simple, it was clean and comfortable compared to other ships of the era. The first voyage, Hope Across the Ocean. On April 10, 1912, the Titanic departed Southampton, England, bound for New York. It stopped in Cherbourg, France, and Queenstown, Cove, Ireland, before embarking on its great transatlantic journey. On board were 2,224 people, 317 passengers, 907 crew members. Among them, wealthy businessmen like John Jacob Astor IV, the richest man on the ship, social elites, hundreds of immigrants from Eastern Europe seeking a fresh start. For the first 4 days, the weather was perfect and the sea unusually calm. Life aboard was filled with parties and conversations in elegant lounges. But on the 4th day, ships in the area began sending radio warnings about icebergs in the Titanic's path. These messages did not receive the attention they deserved. It was cold, the sky was clear, and the sea was calm. At 11:40 p.m., lookouts Frederick Fleet and Reginald Lee, stationed in the crow's nest, spotted a dark mass ahead, a massive iceberg. Fleet rang the warning bell 3 times and called the bridge. "Iceberg right ahead!" First Officer William Murdoch ordered an immediate turn, but it was too late. The Titanic's starboard side scraped the iceberg, tearing open 6 forward compartments. The ship's design allowed it to stay afloat if 4 compartments were flooded, but 6 were already filling with water. Captain Edward Smith realized the Titanic would sink within hours and ordered the lifeboats to be launched. The tragedy: there were enough lifeboats for only 1,178 people, barely half of those aboard. Evacuation began at 12:05. Under the rule, women and children first. First and second-class passengers boarded early, while many in third class were delayed by locked barriers and the ship's layout. Several lifeboats left, half empty, because passengers couldn't believe the unsinkable ship was actually sinking. At 2:10 a.m., the Titanic's stern lifted sharply into the air. 10 minutes later, the ship broke in 2. The bow plunged quickly into the depths, while the stern lingered for a few moments before also sinking. By 2:20 a.m., the Titanic was gone, leaving hundreds in the freezing 2°C waters. Most died within minutes from hypothermia. Out of 2,224 people, only 710 survived. Over 1,500 perished. The RMS Carpathia arrived around 4 a.m. and rescued those remaining in the lifeboats. British and American inquiries blamed Excessive speed in an iceberg-heavy region. No binoculars for the lookouts. Too few lifeboats. Maritime safety regulations were permanently changed after the disaster. In 1985, Dr. Robert Ballard led an expedition and discovered the Titanic's wreck. 3,800 meters below the surface, split in two, covered in rust-colored bacteria, surrounded by personal belongings of those who had been aboard. The Titanic's story inspired countless books and research, but its greatest legacy is a human lesson. Nothing is truly unsinkable, and nothing is greater than the power of nature.